Pain? It's a word that often sends shivers down our spines. We're conditioned to run from it, to avoid it at all costs. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if pain isn't our enemy, but our greatest ally in disguise? Think about the last time you faced a significant challenge. Maybe it was a difficult project at work, a personal setback, or a physical hurdle. How did you feel in that moment? Frustrated, overwhelmed, perhaps even defeated? Now, I want you to consider something radical. What if those feelings of discomfort were actually signposts pointing you toward growth? You see, pain isn't just a random occurrence in our lives. It's a teacher, a guide, and sometimes a much-needed wake-up call. When we experience pain, whether physical, emotional, or mental, our bodies and minds are telling us something important. They're highlighting areas where we need to focus, improve, or make changes. But here's the catch. Most of us have been taught to silence that voice. We've learned to numb the pain, to distract ourselves, to do anything but face it head on. And in doing so, we rob ourselves of some of life's most valuable lessons. Consider the butterfly emerging from its cocoon. The struggle to break free is painful, yes, but it's also essential. That very struggle strengthens the butterfly's wings, preparing it for flight. If we were to help the butterfly by cutting open the cocoon, we'd actually be doing it a disservice. The butterfly would emerge with weak wings, unable to fly. In the same way, when we constantly seek to avoid pain or discomfort in our lives, we deny ourselves the opportunity to grow stronger. We remain in our comfort zones, never realizing our true potential. But what if we could shift our perspective? What if, instead of seeing pain as something to be avoided, we saw it as an opportunity, an invitation to become better, stronger, more resilient versions of ourselves? This isn't about embracing suffering for its own sake. It's about recognizing that discomfort often precedes growth. It's about understanding that the challenges we face are not roadblocks, but stepping stones on our path to success. Think of the athlete who pushes through the burn during training, the entrepreneur who faces rejection after rejection before finally securing that crucial investment, the artist who pours their heart and soul into their work, facing criticism and self-doubt along the way. These individuals don't succeed in spite of their pain. They succeed because of it. They've learned to reframe their perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of complaining about their circumstances, they look for ways to use those circumstances to their advantage. The shift in mindset is powerful. It turns victims into victors, obstacles into opportunities. It transforms pain from something we endure into something we can actually enjoy. Not for the discomfort itself, but for the growth it promises. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Enjoy my pain. That sounds crazy. And you're right. It does sound counterintuitive. But when you start to view pain as a catalyst for growth, something remarkable happens. You begin to welcome challenges. You start to see difficulties not as burdens, but as chances to prove yourself, to learn, to become better. Think about a time when you overcame a significant obstacle. Remember the sense of pride, the boost in confidence, the feeling of accomplishment. That's the hidden treasure within pain, the opportunity for personal triumph. But here's the thing. This treasure isn't handed to us on a silver platter. We have to be willing to dig for it. We have to be brave enough to face our pain head on, to sit with our discomfort, to ask ourselves the hard questions. What is this pain trying to teach me? What weaknesses is it exposing? What strengths do I need to develop? These are the questions that lead to true growth and transformation. And as we begin to ask these questions, we start to notice something interesting. The pain doesn't necessarily go away, but our relationship with it changes. We stop seeing it as an enemy to be vanquished and start seeing it as a tough but fair teacher. This shift in perspective doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, one that requires patience, practice, and persistence. But the rewards are immeasurable. Imagine facing your next challenge not with dread, but with a sense of excitement. Imagine looking at a difficult situation and thinking, this is going to make me stronger. Imagine being able to find joy, not just in your successes, but in your struggles as well. This is the paradox of pain. The very thing we've been conditioned to avoid can become our greatest source of growth, strength, and ultimately, joy. Let's be clear. This doesn't mean we should seek out pain or create unnecessary hardships for ourselves. Life will provide plenty of challenges on its own. What it does mean is that when those challenges inevitably come, we have a choice in how we respond. We can complain, we can resist, we can try to numb ourselves to the discomfort, or we can lean in. We can choose to see the opportunity hidden within the obstacle. We can choose to grow. This choice, this shift in perspective, is the first step in transforming our relationship with pain. It's the key that unlocks the hidden treasure of personal growth and self-discovery. But how do we make this shift? How do we train ourselves to see pain not as a punishment, but as a pathway to growth? It starts with awareness. The next time you face a challenge or experience discomfort, pause for a moment. Notice your initial reaction. Are you immediately looking for ways to escape the pain? Are you falling into old patterns of complaint and self-pity? Then challenge yourself to look at the situation differently. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How might this difficulty be preparing me for something greater? What strengths might I develop by facing this head-on? This doesn't mean denying your feelings or putting on a fake smile. It's okay to acknowledge that pain hurts, that challenges are difficult. The key is not to stop there. Feel the pain, acknowledge it, but then look beyond it. As you practice this new way of thinking, you'll start to notice changes. You'll find yourself becoming more resilient in the face of adversity. You'll discover reserves of strength you never knew you had. You'll start to approach challenges with a sense of curiosity rather than dread. And here's the really exciting part. As you learn to embrace your pain, you'll also learn to embrace your potential. Because the truth is, we're capable of far more than we often give ourselves credit for. It's often in our moments of greatest struggle that we discover our greatest strengths. Think about the times in your life when you've grown the most. Chances are they weren't the easy times. They were the times when you were pushed out of your comfort zone, when you had to dig deep and find resources you didn't know you had. That's the gift that pain offers us. The opportunity to discover just how strong, how resilient, how capable we really are. But this gift isn't given. It's earned. It requires us to make a conscious choice every day to face our challenges head on, to resist the temptation to complain or make excuses, to embrace our pain not as a burden, but as a catalyst for growth. This choice isn't always easy. There will be days when the pain feels overwhelming, when the challenges seem insurmountable. In those moments, remember, every great success story is also a story of great struggle. The entrepreneur who built a thriving business faced countless setbacks and failures along the way. The athlete who broke world records endured grueling training sessions and painful defeats. The artist whose work touches millions struggled through periods of self-doubt and criticism. These individuals didn't succeed because they were freed from pain. They succeeded because they learned to use their pain as fuel for their journey. And that's the invitation before us today, to stop seeing pain as something to be avoided at all costs and start seeing it as an essential part of our growth journey. To stop complaining about our challenges and start embracing them as opportunities for transformation. This doesn't mean the journey will be easy. It won't. But it will be worth it, because on the other side of that pain, that struggle, that discomfort, lies a version of yourself that you've yet to meet, a stronger, more resilient, more capable you. So the next time you face a challenge, the next time you feel the familiar sting of pain or discomfort, remember, hidden within that pain is a treasure, a chance to grow, to learn, to become better than you were before. Will you turn away from it? Or will you lean in, embrace it, and use it as a stepping stone to your next level of growth? The choice is yours. But remember, in that choice lies the key to unlocking your full potential. In that choice lies the difference between a life of complaint and a life of continual growth and triumph. So I challenge you, don't just endure your pain. Don't just tolerate it. Learn to enjoy it, not for the discomfort itself, but for the growth it promises, for the strength it builds, for the person it's shaping you to become. Because when you learn to enjoy your pain, to see it as a catalyst rather than a curse, you unlock a power within yourself that no external circumstance can take away. You become unstoppable. And that's when the real magic happens. That's when you start to see every challenge as an opportunity, every setback as a setup for a comeback. That's when you start to live life on your own terms, unafraid of difficulty, eager for growth. This is the paradox of pain, that within our greatest struggles lie our greatest opportunities for growth. And as we unveil this hidden treasure, we don't just change our circumstances, we change ourselves. We become the architects of our own transformation, the authors of our own success stories. So I ask you, are you ready to embrace this paradox? Are you ready to stop complaining and start growing? Are you ready to unlock the hidden treasure within your pain? The journey won't be easy, but I promise you this, it will be worth it. Because on the other side of that pain, that struggle, that discomfort, lies a version of yourself you've yet to meet. A version that's stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you ever imagined possible. And that, my friends, is a treasure worth pursuing. Now that we've unveiled the hidden treasure within our pain, it's time to take the next crucial step. We're about to transform the way we view adversity, turning our complaints into powerful catalysts for change. This is where the real magic happens. Think about the last time you faced a significant challenge. What was your immediate reaction? For many of us, the default response is to complain. We grumble about our bad luck, we lament our circumstances, we ask, why me? But what if I told you that this habit of complaining is costing you more than you realize? Complaining might feel good in the moment. It provides a temporary release, a way to vent our frustrations. But here's the hard truth. Every time we complain, we're giving away our power. We're reinforcing a victim mentality that keeps us stuck, that prevents us from seeing the opportunities hidden within our challenges. Consider this. Every minute you spend complaining is a minute you could have spent finding a solution. Every ounce of energy you put into bemoaning your circumstances is energy you could have invested in changing them. But don't just take my word for it. I want you to think about someone you admire, someone who's achieved great things in their field. It could be a business leader, an athlete, an artist, anyone who's reached the pinnacle of success. Now ask yourself, do you think that person got where they are by complaining about their obstacles, or by finding ways to overcome them? The answer is clear, isn't it? Successful people aren't successful because they face fewer challenges. They're successful because they've learned to approach those challenges differently. They've mastered the art of turning adversity into advantage. This is the alchemy of adversity, the ability to transform the lead of our complaints into the gold of catalysts for growth and change. It's a skill that anyone can learn, but it requires a fundamental shift in our thinking. So how do we make this shift? How do we stop seeing our challenges as burdens and start seeing them as opportunities? It starts with awareness. The next time you catch yourself complaining, stop, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what am I really upset about? What's the root cause of my frustration? Often, our complaints are just surface level manifestations of deeper issues or fears. Once you've identified the real issue, ask yourself another question. What can I do about this? This simple question is powerful because it immediately shifts you from a passive victim mentality to an active problem-solving mind. Remember, the goal isn't to pretend that everything is perfect or to deny the existence of problems. The goal is to approach those problems with a mindset of possibility rather than defeat. Let me give you an example. Say you're stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. The typical response might be to complain about the traffic, to stress about being late, to curse your bad luck. But what if instead you saw this as an opportunity? Maybe it's a chance to practice patience and stress management. Maybe it's an opportunity to listen to that audiobook or podcast you've been meaning to get to. Maybe it's a reminder that you need to leave earlier or find alternative routes in the future. Do you see how this shift in perspective changes everything? Suddenly, you're not helpless in the face of your circumstances. You're actively looking for ways to make the most of the situation, to learn from it, to grow from it. This is the essence of transforming complaints into catalysts. It's about taking the energy we usually waste on complaining and redirecting it towards finding solutions, identifying opportunities, and spurring personal growth. But let's be honest, this isn't always easy. Our brains are wired to focus on the negative, to complain when things don't go our way. It's a survival mechanism left over from our evolutionary past. But in today's world, this tendency often does more harm than good. So how do we overcome this natural inclination? How do we train ourselves to see the opportunity in every difficulty? One powerful technique is to practice reframing. This involves consciously choosing to look at a situation from a different perspective. For every negative thought or complaint, challenge yourself to find at least one positive aspect or potential benefit. For instance, if you're facing a difficult project at work, instead of complaining about the workload, you might reframe it as, "This is a chance for me to develop new skills and improve my capabilities." If you're dealing with a health issue, rather than lamenting your condition, you might think, "This is pushing me to prioritize my health and make positive lifestyle changes." Another effective strategy is to adopt a solution-focused mindset. Whenever you encounter a problem, train yourself to immediately start thinking about potential solutions. Don't dwell on why something happened or how unfair it is. Instead, focus your energy on what you can do about it. This doesn't mean you'll always find an immediate solution. Some problems are complex and take time to resolve, but by consistently directing your thoughts towards solutions rather than complaints, you're building a mental habit that will serve you well in all areas of life. It's also crucial to surround yourself with the right influences. The people we spend time with have a significant impact on our mindset and behavior. If you're constantly around people who complain and focus on the negative, it's going to be much harder for you to maintain a positive, solution-oriented perspective. Seek out individuals who inspire you, who face their challenges head-on, who see opportunities where others see obstacles. Their attitude will rub off on you, reinforcing your own efforts to transform complaints into catalysts. Now, I want to share a powerful story that illustrates the transformative power of this mindset shift. There was a young entrepreneur who invested everything he had into his first business venture. For months, he worked tirelessly, pouring his heart and soul into making his dream a reality. But then disaster struck. A sudden change in market conditions rendered his business model obsolete almost overnight. He lost everything, his savings, his investors' money, even his reputation in the business community. At first, he was devastated. He complained bitterly about his bad luck, about the unfairness of the market, about how all his hard work had been for nothing. But then something changed. One day, in the midst of his despair, he decided to stop complaining and start asking different questions. Instead of, "Why did this happen to me?" he began asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better, stronger, wiser?" This shift in perspective changed everything. He realized that his failure had taught him invaluable lessons about business, about resilience, about himself. He saw that he now had experience and insights that many successful entrepreneurs lack. Armed with this new mindset, he went back to the drawing board. He used the lessons from his failure to create a new business plan, one that was more robust, more adaptable to market changes. He reached out to his former investors, not to apologize, but to share his new insights and vision. To his surprise, many of them were impressed by his resilience and his ability to learn from failure. Some even decided to back his new venture. Today, that entrepreneur runs a successful multinational company, and he often says that his initial failure was the best thing that ever happened to him. This story powerfully illustrates the alchemy of adversity. By changing his perspective, by transforming his complaints into catalysts for growth and innovation, this entrepreneur turned what seemed like a catastrophic failure into the foundation for his ultimate success. And here's the exciting part. This same transformation is available to each and every one of us. We all face challenges. We all encounter obstacles and setbacks. The question is, will we let these difficulties defeat us, or will we use them as stepping stones to our goals? The choice is ours. We can continue to complain, to focus on what's wrong, to play the victim, or we can choose to see our challenges differently. We can choose to ask better questions, to look for opportunities, to focus on solutions rather than problems. This choice, to transform our complaints into catalysts, is one of the most powerful decisions we can make. It's a choice that has the potential to radically alter the course of our lives. Think about it. What if from this moment forward, you committed to approaching every challenge, every setback, every disappointment with this new mindset? What if, instead of complaining, you immediately started looking for the lesson, the opportunity, the potential for growth? How would your life change? How would your relationships improve? How much more could you achieve? The possibilities are limitless. Because when you master this alchemy of adversity, you become unstoppable. No challenge is too great, no obstacle too high. You develop a resilience that allows you to bounce back from any setback, to learn from any failure, to grow stronger with every difficulty. But remember, this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a skill that needs to be practiced, a muscle that needs to be exercised. There will be times when you slip back into old patterns of complaining and negativity. That's okay. The key is to catch yourself, to gently remind yourself of this new way of thinking, and to keep moving forward. Start small. The next time you face a minor annoyance or inconvenience, challenge yourself to find the opportunity within it. As you get better at this, gradually apply this mindset to bigger challenges. Before you know it, you'll find yourself naturally looking for the positive, for the potential in. And as you do this, you'll notice something remarkable happening. Your problems won't disappear. Life will always have its challenges, but your relationship to those problems will change dramatically. You'll find yourself feeling more empowered, more in control, more excited about the future. You'll start to see challenges, not as burdens to be endured, but as opportunities to be seized. You'll approach life with a sense of curiosity and excitement, always asking, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become better? This is the true power of transforming complaints into catalysts. It's not just about solving problems more effectively, although that's certainly a benefit. It's about fundamentally changing the way you interact with the world. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just survive adversity, but thrives. So I challenge you from this moment forward, commit to this new way of thinking. Whenever you catch yourself complaining, stop. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what's the opportunity here? How can I use this as a catalyst for growth? It won't always be easy. There will be times when the challenges seem overwhelming, when it's hard to see any silver lining. But in those moments, remember difficulty you face is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, more resilient. Every problem contains within it the seeds of its own solution, and often something much greater. By embracing this mindset, by mastering this alchemy of adversity, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're changing yourself. You're becoming the kind of person who can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, achieve any goal. And that, my friends, is true success. It's not about never facing difficulties. It's about having the confidence, the skills, and the mindset to turn those difficulties into stepping stones towards your dreams. So are you ready? Are you ready to stop complaining and start catalyzing? Are you ready to transform your adversities into advantages, your problems into possibilities, your setbacks into setups for comebacks? The choice is yours. But remember, in that choice lies the power to transform not just your circumstances, but your entire life. In that choice lies the key to unlocking your full potential to becoming the best version of yourself.
It's about time. And in particular, the time we've been conditioned to take for granted. I'm talking about the weekend. Now, what's the common idea about weekends? Most people are waiting for them to arrive so they can shut off. Shut down, unplug, escape. They spend the entire week just grinding, looking forward to those precious 2 days of relaxation. And don't get me wrong, rest is important. But ask yourself, is that what separates the top 1% from the other 99%? Is that what builds success? Is that the key to living an extraordinary life? No, it's not. The weekend is a hidden treasure chest of opportunity. It's that extra slice of time that you can use to leap ahead while everyone else is coasting. Think about it. When are your competitors taking it easy? It's usually on the weekend. And that's exactly why the weekend is for outworking the competition. I want you to imagine two people, person A and person B. Now, person A works hard Monday through Friday. They put in their hours, they give it their best effort, and they do everything that's asked of them. But come Friday evening, they switch off. They put their feet up, maybe have a drink, watch TV, go out with friends, spend the weekend doing anything but thinking about their goals. Person B also works hard Monday through Friday, but they understand something. They understand that while everyone else is relaxing, there's an open window to get ahead. So they use their weekend differently. They don't spend all of it working. No, that's not what I'm saying. They take some time to rest, sure. But they also carve out hours for reading, learning, working on their side projects, planning, and sharpening their skills. Maybe they're not putting in a full day of work on Saturday, but they're certainly putting in the effort to keep moving forward. Now, fast forward a year. Which of those two people do you think will be further ahead? It's obvious, right? Person B. And it's not because they're necessarily smarter or more talented. It's because they leverage the time that most people waste. They understood the power of the weekend. And that's the key here. If you want to be extraordinary, if you want to build something that lasts, something meaningful, you have to be willing to do what the ordinary won't do. And that starts with recognizing that the weekend is not a time to coast. The weekend is for outworking the competition. So what does that really look like? Now, I'm not saying you should work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm not saying you should burn yourself out. There's a balance here. But what I'm saying is this. There's a mindset shift that needs to happen. Most people think the weekend is a reward for working hard during the week. But the top performers, they see the weekend as the foundation for the next week. They use it to gain momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. Once you've got it, it's easier to keep it going. But when you lose it, it takes a tremendous amount of energy to get it back. So, If you spend Monday to Friday building momentum, why would you want to lose it over the weekend? If you take 2 or 3 days off every single week, that's like hitting the reset button over and over. You're starting from scratch every Monday morning. Instead of building on what you did the previous week, you're rebuilding. The greats, the ones who truly excel, don't let that happen. They keep the momentum going, even on the weekend. They know that success doesn't care what day of the week it is. You spend just 2 hours each day on the weekend working on your goals, or even working on a project you're passionate about. 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday. That's 4 extra hours each week. Multiply that by 52 weeks in a year, and you've got an extra 208 hours. That's more than 5 full work weeks of extra effort. Now, do you think someone who's putting in 5 extra work weeks a year might have a slight edge over their competition? You bet they do. That's the power of consistent effort. And that's what separates the average from the exceptional. It's not about doing a lot in a short burst of time. It's about doing a little bit more consistently over the long term. You see, success is not a big thing. It's a bunch of little things done well, day after day, week after week. So when you think about the weekend, I want you to start thinking about it differently. Don't see it as time to escape. See it as time to invest. Time to invest in your future. Because here's the truth. While everyone else is resting, while everyone else is taking it easy, you have the opportunity to put in the work that will set you apart. I've always believed in the philosophy that you should work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And the weekend is the perfect time to do that. Maybe during the week you're busy with your career, your job, your responsibilities. But the weekend, that's when you can focus on yourself. That's when you can read the books, listen to the seminars, write down your goals, and plan out your vision. Think about it. What would happen if you spent your weekends improving yourself by just 1% every week? Just 1%. It sounds small, but over time, that compounds. Over a year, that's a 52% improvement. And that's huge. That's life-changing. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. It happens when you decide that the weekend is for outworking the competition. And most people will say, don't I need time to rest? Don't I need time to enjoy myself? Absolutely you do. But I'm telling you, the joy you get from spending time working on your dreams, from seeing progress, from feeling like you're moving forward, that joy is different from the temporary pleasure you get from sitting on the couch and doing nothing. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. But here's what you need to remember. Life rewards effort. Life rewards those who are willing to put in the work when no one else is watching. You've got to fall in love with the process. You've got to fall in love with the grind. And that's especially true on the weekend. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And that bridge is built day by day, week by week. But the challenge is, most people don't want to build it on the weekends. Most people think discipline is something you apply Monday through Friday. But discipline doesn't take days off. Discipline doesn't care if it's Saturday or Sunday. It's there, ready for you to pick it up and use it. And here's something else. The weekend is also a great time to get creative. You know, sometimes during the week, we get caught up in the routine. We get so busy doing what we need to do that we don't have time to think creatively. to explore new ideas, to dream big. The weekend is perfect for that. When your mind is a little more relaxed, when you're not as rushed, that's when you can start to think outside the box. That's when you can brainstorm, come up with new strategies, and start thinking about how you're going to take things to the next level. I want you to see the weekend as your laboratory. It's your time to experiment. Try new things. See what works. See what doesn't. Use that time to test out new ideas, new approaches, new habits. Because that's how you grow. That's how you evolve. And that's how you stay ahead of the competition. Now, when I say the weekend is for outworking the competition, I don't just mean the people around you. Sure, there are always going to be people who are working hard, and you want to stay ahead of them. But the real competition, the most important competition, is with yourself. It's about being better today than you were yesterday. It's about improving just a little bit every single day, every single weekend. And here's the truth. You don't have to be the best in the world on day one. You don't even have to be the best on day 100. You just have to be willing to keep getting better. Weekends are your opportunity to do that. While everyone else is staying the same, you're improving. While everyone else is coasting, you're moving forward. And over time, that difference adds up. It's like compound interest. Small improvements over a long period of time lead to massive results. Mr. Shove taught me something that changed the way I looked at time and effort. He said, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Think about that. Simple disciplines practiced every day. Not just Monday through Friday. Not just when you feel like it. Every day, including the weekends. That's why the weekend is so important. It's a time to practice discipline. It's a time to reinforce the habits that will lead you to success. It's a time to put in the work that others aren't willing to do.